Good morning, friends. The roads are quiet, quieter than normal. Lockdown continues, and the company of family, friends, and church fellowship restricted to almost nothing. And yet, it's Easter Sunday, a day of triumph. But for who? With our Prime Minister still in hospital, millions at home on furlough, our NHS staff still under intense pressure, whilst the service sector continues to serve us, from small shops, from delivery vans, from factory production lines, major religious, social and sporting events are all cancelled. We might have even forgotten that it's Easter. Well, that first Easter morning began in the quietness of a pre-dawn walk. Mary Magdalene steps out into the chill air and starts walking through the streets of Jerusalem towards Golgotha and the tomb nearby. She comes with spices to anoint the dead body. Since sundown on Friday she had wanted to be there, just to be near the one she loved, who had been so violently taken away from her. Other women rise early too, and hurry in the same direction, but Mary arrived first. And as the first rays of light fill the garden, they fall on the tomb. It yawns open, the stone has been rolled to one side. Spinning on her heels, rushing past the other women just entering the garden, the frightened and confused Mary breaks into a dash, back into the direction from which she came. She must tell Peter and John. They've taken the Lord out of the tomb, and I don't know where they've put him. Now it is Peter and John's turn to run. John, younger and faster, races ahead of his friend to the tomb, but he stops at the entrance. And as he hesitates, Peter rushes past him, straight into the tomb. Mary was right. The body of Jesus is gone. The grave clothes lie folded. The fragrance of spices lingers, but that's all. Peter returns to the city, wondering what had happened, while Mary stays behind, weeping. Stolen. The body of her Lord has been stolen. Of all the indignities heaped upon him, this final desecration seems too hard to bear. Alone in the garden once more, Mary again looks into the tomb. This time, two angels meet her gaze. "Why are you crying?" one asks. Startled, almost shocked by such an insensitive question, "I don't know where they've taken him." Sensing a presence behind her, she turns. A man is standing there. "Why are you crying?" he asks. In her desperate state, perhaps averting her eyes, puffy with weeping, she mistakes him for the gardener. "If you've taken him away, tell me where you've put him." Then the man calls her by name, Mary. "My teacher," she replies, and with unspeakable joy, she falls before him, her arms reaching involuntarily around his nail-marked feet. It's hard to imagine Jesus' tone of voice other than touched with quiet joy. Mary. Just the sound of her name spoken by Jesus began Mary's own resurrection. Jesus was not stolen, but risen. Risen for her. Stories of what happened to Mary and the others who personally encountered Jesus that resurrection morning are mind-blowing. The incidents speak of hope, new beginnings, of victory over tears and disappointment, of eventual triumph over death, and of who we are. Those he calls by name, for he knows our name. But have you ever noticed how quietly this Easter thing is? No angelic choir heralding Jesus' return from the grave, no foreign dignitaries arrived bearing gifts, no voice thundered from heaven. The sounds of resurrection are very different. They are much more personal. Muffled voices at dawn, the sounds of footsteps passing in the street, her name hanging in the morning air as Mary gasps in recognition. Peter and John whispering as they hurried back to town, wondering, hoping, wanting so much to believe. 3 men walking towards another town, Emmaus, talking quietly amongst themselves. 2 of them heartbroken at the death of a dream. The 3rd one trying to restore their hope. The resurrection unfolds in a series of personal conversations between Jesus and his followers. It's friendly, it's family. And as he did with Mary, Jesus calls us by name too. The promise that he will is for everybody. The experience that he does is for those who believe. Do you believe? Will you believe this Easter? Don't be robbed into thinking that Easter is about making lemonade from the lemons of life. No, the resurrection of Jesus is personal for you and global for the whole world. And it's a gift of grace. For Jesus has destroyed death and brought life and immortality to light. He says, I am the living one. I was dead, but now I am alive forevermore. And in a gentle voice, he speaks our name. Do you hear him this resurrection morning? If you want to know more, just drop me a line or send me a message. It would be lovely to hear from you. Now, we normally finish our Sunday services with a hymn, and being Easter Sunday, it would be a tremendous hymn. There are so many I could choose, but below is the link to an amazing hymn that invites you to turn your eyes upon Jesus. Click the link and enjoy the song. There's also a link to a little video called the Seriously Surprising Story. It comes from the Bible Society, and it's tremendous for sharing with both young and old. Enjoy that video too. On this Easter Sunday morning, I hope you hear him speaking your name and know how much he loves you. God bless you.